Hello friends, good evening. Today I am going to show you some very interesting features which can be used by many organizations who are into trading or manufacturing and want to recognize their revenue and expenses in a scheduler manner, or let's say who want to sell it now or purchase it now, but due to their long cycle of purchase and sales commitment, they want to convert into sales income or cost of sales like expenses in regular period or phases. So Odoo has very good features available, which we call deferred revenue models and deferred expenses models. So to configure that, first we need to configure chart of accounts. In chart of accounts, we need to configure one account under current asset, that is we call deferred expenses. So when we incur some expenses and that expenses will realize in a scheduler manner, like you pay your broadband prepaid for advance for a quarter or a year, then you pay right now, let's say 10,000 rupees for 6 months or 5 months of time, but in system it should realize monthly basis. So your expenses calculation can be done in such a way so your books can be managed separately for such transactions of expenditures. So we first define a chart of accounts like deferred expenses. The type is current asset. In automation, automate deferred expense, we have to create in draft mode. And then we have to define an expense model. So expense model is there to define what is the recognition cycle. Odoo offers in month and a year basis, so I keep 3 months and I say constant periods, and then I say deferred expense account, which is the current one, and then expense account, which converts, when it realize on that basis deferred expense COGS item. And I've created a separate journal to just keep it separate. The same way, we have to define deferred revenue, which is a part of liability, because those amount or those commitment we earn, but it is not realized, so that's why it's part of current liability account. Over here also we need to set automated deferred revenue and the deferred revenue model. Inside model, I have selected 3 months of cycle on no pro rata basis of what you can select, and then deferred revenue account, deferred sales account, and such. Okay, now I have recently created one invoice. So during any invoice creation, what you need to do is you need to change this account, which is normally your sales account, retail account, to for customer invoice, it should be deferred revenue account. When you change this, Odoo will automatically launch this deferred revenue plan over here. Inside that, according to our setting, it will launch deferred revenue 3 months plan. And according to 3 months plan, I said like pro rata basis on 1st March, it should recognize. I am registering invoice right now on, let's say, 1st May. But my plan is in advance because I register my invoice later, and then it divided my revenue recognition like this. 31st March is the last day of the month, and then 30th April and 31st May would go accordingly, and it will realize 10,000 rupees of transaction, which is a current invoice transaction 10,000 rupees. Okay, the same way I am now going to launch a vendor bill for us. So inside vendor bill, I will select my vendor and I will create my product. So here we need to change this account to deferred expense account, and then we need to register let's say 18,000, so it can divide into 6 months. And then I will register my bill date as, let's say, 1st March, or let's say not 1st March, our new financial year is from April as in India, so it will be 1st April. The account date will be this, and as soon as I confirm this, it will launch my deferred expense plan over here. And as per plan, the default expense I want to plan for 6 months. I save it, and this will be the start date on pro rata basis. So my acquisition date is 1st April. So here deferred expense I want to start from 1st April, and when I press this compute expense button, it will calculate my expense planner like this. So first acquisition will be 30th April, then 31st May, then June, July, August, September. This will be 6 months plan I can see, and divide equally because I keep 18,000 as a base amount. It will run. And you can see one entry is there which is backdated entry. So as soon as I confirm this backdated entry, it will already pass my journal entries like this because it was backdated. And here I would like to show you now the ledger or trial balance. Okay, so for this financial year, I can see the deferred expense, and when I move to ledger account, you can see 18,000 has been debited against this bill, and 3,000 has been credited as a part of first journal entry for the expenses. Okay, and here you can see one entry of 3,000 has been realized under deferred expense COGS account, which I set inside that. Okay, and then the counterpart, I can see the creditor account, which is 18,000 plus taxes, so 18,900, and then it will also have the SGST and CGST components. Okay, so COGS sales has nothing to do with it because I haven't registered under that account, and then it will be part of my receivable SGST and CGST under vendor bill. So 5 number is my bill, but this is 5 number bill 18,900, and then this is the plan which is there. So this is how one can register their expenses in periodic manner, so their book can be kept very clean and they can pay the amount or register their income as well as expenses in periodical manner. Same way I can now register another customer invoice where I want to register my income. So the thing is here I have to change the account to deferred revenue account, and then I need to register it. So I said 12,000. As soon as I confirm this invoice, it will launch my deferred revenue plan. And here acquisition date is today's date, and based on days per period, it will recognize my revenue. So as soon as I press compute button, it will launch my plan like this. Okay, I have 3 months plan, but I can see 4 deferred revenue based on the date basis. So 7th is the first date, so accordingly it has calculated 3,260 for this particular month up to 31st May and June, July, and then few days of August. If you want to have accurate, we can change it to constant period and then compute the revenue. Then it will divide like this. Okay, but let's say it's asked for pro rata basis only. So if I change my pro rata basis from 1st May, and then if I calculate the revenue, it will launch monthly basis only. You can see 4,000, 4,000, 4,000 compute to 12,000 total. So either constant or based on days per period. So if it is in between a date, I can launch accordingly to my revenue. So see, it is auto calculating like that. And if I make it to 1st May, or if I want later date also to recognize this revenue, I can select 1st June. So calculation will be on 30 June. It will calculate like this based on the days. You can see per month basis, it is 30 days a month, it is 31 days a month, again 31 days a month, it calculated and divided. So these are the method based on day per period or constant period. If I shift to constant period and if I select 1st June, it will divide everything equally. See, because it is on monthly basis. So this is how you can compute your revenue and you can confirm this revenue plan. And in your ledger now, we can see the impact of this revenue. So you can see this is based on partner ledger, but I want general ledger. Here I can see first part is my debtor, which mention 12,600 debited against this invoice. Then deferred revenue, you can see no deferred revenue, but only 12,000 credit against that invoice. If I launch my unposted entries, then it will show all the revenue part for customer 2, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, which is 30 June, 31st July, and 31st August. Okay, and then deferred sales account can also show you the same entry. It is credited here and it is debited here. Okay, so this is how a company can recognize their revenues and expenses part inside Odoo to recognize those on their books of account. Hope this will help many companies to make either trading, either manufacturing, and can have long-term project-based planning. They can use this feature. Hope this helps. Thank you very much.